Welcome everyone to an arena video. This is Andrea Mengucci. This video is sponsored to you by channelfireball.com and Ultimate God. Hello everybody, and this is one of my first, I want to say, early look at the Alchemy cards. If you watch me reading some cards in the previous season, I'm always like, you know, what is this? What does this do? What is happening? And I believe that here we have a lot of that. So, first thing is, what is Alchemy? Alchemy is an arena-only legal format that doesn't exist in Paper Magic. You can't replicate it. And you are going to have cards that are rebalanced. For example, they have announced an Azeka's Chariot rebalanced, a Faceless 7 rebalanced. You can check them on, probably on this. We can maybe find them here. No. Alright, anyway, yeah, it's a bunch of, like, you could say they're nerfed. And they only happen to standard cards. They will also be legal in Historic and Brawl, but here we're taking a look at Alchemy. So it's like this arena standard. I would call it this way. Alright, first card that I'm reading is Gutmorn. 3 mana 1/3 Flying Death Touch. Whenever it comes into play, each player discards a non-land card. So you and your opponent, you both discard a card, a non-land card. And now what happens? Whenever a player discards a card during your turn, they choose another player. So you choose the opponent, your opponent chooses you. The player conjures, you'd be like, what is conjure? Conjure is just create. So you create a duplicate of that card into your hand. So if your opponent discards a lightning bolt, opponent discards, like, I don't know, a lightning strike, you get in your hand. And it perpetually gains, you may spend mana as though it was any color. So, okay. So that's how this card works. So ideally you cast this card when you have no cards in hand, so that your opponent doesn't get anything, or only lands in hand, so that your opponent doesn't get anything and you get a card. It's not a very good card, so we can move on to Puppet Razor. 4 mana, 1/1, onset 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1/3 creature from your graveyard. If you do, seek. Seek means search in your library without shuffling. And I repeat, without shuffling. This is only an ability that can happen on Magic Arena, Seek. Because in paper you have to shuffle if you look at your library. On Arena you don't. So if you scry to the bottom, or on a mulligan and put a card to the bottom, you're not going to shuffle that back. Seek for a creature card with mana value equal to the mana value of that card plus 1. That gains Menace. It's a card advantage engine, but, like, not great. I mean, sure, you pay 4, you get a 3/3 that, like, draws a creature. If by any chances I make a mistake with my understanding, please highlight it in the chat, because I'm also, you know, not very aware of some of these mechanic. Assemble from parts. 1 mana instant. Target creature in your graveyard perpetually gains. You pay 4, exile this card from your graveyard, shuffle it in your library. So you exile a creature, so you like shuffle a creature from your library and you just eternalize it. So it's like, you know, the Scarab God. It's basically the Scarab God. So yeah, this is the Scarab God activation. Again, not very good. City Stalker Connoisseur. 4 mana 3/3 Death Touch. When it comes into play, target opponent discards a card with the greatest mana value. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Still not good, but not bad. The problem is that this card will compete with, like, you know, standard. It's not that. There's no part of a draft environment. Oh yeah, you can't draft these cards. These cards you can only pay with the wild cards. I hope you stuck. I hope you kept them. I guess Crimson Vow was in a sense nice because it meant that you didn't need to craft anything, because that's like not that many good cards. So that was good. All right, Sanguine Brushstroke. 1 black black. All right, I need to drink more. One black black. When enters the battlefield, make a blood token. Wow, conjure a card named Blood Artist. All right, Blood Artist. For those of you who don't know, Blood Artist is a 2-mana 0/1 that when any creature dies, you drain 1. So that's a good card. See, playing standard. So you play an enchantment that you make a blood token and you get a thing. And when you sacrifice a blood token, each opponent loses a life. Alright, still I think you're paying too much for a card like that. You hate black cards dealing damage? Well, black cards were dealing damage since 1993. Drain life? Was that life loss maybe? The Yusamjian definitely dealt you damage. 2 mana, Sap Vitality, black black instant, deal 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker. Wow, that's a burn spell. Choose a creature in your hand, you prepare to gain +3/+0. Not great. I've played the one that drains 3. What's it called? 1 black black, deal 3, gain 3. Bump in the Night, I think it was life loss. Veteran Gold Caller, 2 mana, 2/1 menace. Whenever a card in your graveyard is put into your hand, conjure a duplicate of that card. Card in your graveyard is put into your hand. Oh wow, so it's a 2/1, 2/1 menace, and if you return a card from your graveyard, you make a copy of it. I think all these cards are like cool, but they don't seem that good to me. Alright, thank you, Chads. Chuck said that they're now cooking their pasta less and it's much better. Well done, well done. I succeeded in the Italian mission to let the world cook the pasta less. I don't know who spread the words at the first place, but you know, we're trying to. Break Expectation, 1 mana, technically reveals all the cards, the mana value 2 or greater in their hand. You choose one. Ooh. Break Expectation Spellbook. Break Expectation Spellbook. I just don't even bother. Who cares? This card is not very good. Let's go on. Cursed Bound Witch. Come on, I should really know the spellbook. They should definitely point him out here. Where is the spellbook? No? I know you can do that, Scryfall. You're smart. I like perpetuate things. Have I ever accidentally overcooked your pasta? Oh yeah, for sure. 5 mana, add red. Draft a card from Tibalt Trickery Spellbook. Porca boy, you should really just be... Like, I can't really give my hot takes if I can't know what's the spellbook are. Early in Standard and Historic? They're legal in Alchemy and Historic. Yeah. They're not legal in Standard. It deals 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker unless its controller has to deal 3 damage to them. If you do, you may discard a card. You paying too much mana. This card is not worth it, chat. I'm sorry. I'm not really trying to understand what it is, but you're paying 5 mana. 5 mana, you just win the games, usually. Town Razor Tyrant. Oh, this was very good. Alright, Crooked's previewed it. This is very, very strong. 4 mana, 4/4 flyer. And when it comes into play, you target a land of your opponent, and it loses all the abilities, except mana abilities. So, for example... If you target a Hole of the Storm Giant, that's going to just become an island, okay? If you target a Field of Ruin, it's only going to become a waste. And it gains, at the beginning of your upkeep, so the following turn, this permanent deals 2 damage to you, unless you sacrifice it. So it's kind of like a tax to the land. I don't think it's particularly good, because what's going to happen is you play this, they either kill it, or if they're... You know, they have 3 options. They either kill this thing and nothing happened. This card doesn't even have an ATB. They ignore it, so just take 2 damage. Or they just sack the land. Obviously, you get a 4/4 dragon, but there's so many good dragons these days. You have the the Moonveil Regent, the other dragons of the new set, the 4/3 mythic one. So I feel like there's just too many dragons and not having, and all of them don't have an ATB effect, which is a weakness of these all. One in a red flying. At the beginning of your end step, each dragon in your hand gains one less. I mean, all these cards are cute and everything, but the truth is that, I don't know, it's gonna be, I don't envision them being good in Standard, or rather in Alchemy. Remember, these are not Standard legal, only Alchemy legal. One in a red prowess. When enters the battlefield, if there are 20 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, hand, or library, you may discard a card. If you do, seek an instant sorcery card. Okay, so what you do with this card is, you pay 2 mana for a 2/2 prowess, which is very good stats. Very good stats. Sorry, I should cut this Cathar command. I don't know what's this doing here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you've been watching it. That'd be like, what's that, Mango? So 2 mana 2/2 prowess is a good stats, and then it lets you like, you know the Merfolk that lets you like discard a card, you get Tropical Island. This is similar in the sense that you get a reasonable card, and you, if you have extra land, you can loot that. If not, you just got a reasonable card. We got 4/1 with the Jund, yeah. Okay, the next one is also very strong, is Electrostatic Blast. It's 1 in a red for a shock, and it says, when you cast your next instant or sorcery, you do the Magmatic Channeler ability. So you reveal 2 cards, you may choose one. So this is a 2 mana shock and a card. So it has 2 things for only 2 mana. Obviously it comes with a problem that if you're in top deck mode and you draw this is just a shock. So, Electrostatic Blast is, I think, not a bad card. Probably the strongest card I've seen so far. I can zoom a little bit. Arms Scavenger. 2 mana 2/2. Begin your upkeep. This is the problem. So, magic cards that come into play, do nothing, and say at the beginning of your upkeep aren't that good anymore. Be like Dark Confidant, for example. Is you just have to like, a whole cycle has to go through before something meaningful happens, and you just got a 2/2 mana 2/2. Oh, the top 3 cards of your library. Wow. The top 3 cards, the Electrostatic Blast, I misread it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the ability is excellent, for sure. The problem is, you know, that it's a shock, and in top deck mode it's not excellent. Obviously, nothing to use. As I said, the strongest card I've read so far. 2 mana 2/2. At the beginning of your upkeep, draft a card from the spellbook, then exile it. Until the end of turn, you may play that card. Alright, I really should know what's the spellbook here, because like, we have to know what's. So Dwelling Rapier, a boost of speed and Dwelling Rap. Oh, this is all the equipment. Oh wow, this is like all the equipment that cost 1 or 0 mana. Or 2 mana. So this thing gets all the equipments in the world. Okay, cool. 2 mana 2/2. Until end of turn you may play it. This says whenever you cast your next. It doesn't say a different turn. Draft means you can select any of them or get 3 options. Oh wow. Sorry. Let me explain this now. So draft means you get to among all of these options, you will be presented with 3 at randoms, and you get one of these. Okay, Blood Rage Alpha. 4 mana 4/3. When it enters the battlefield, you choose one. Another target wolf or werewolf you control fights. When you cast your next wolf or werewolf spell, gains play fight. That's cool. Still not good enough. But... Conductive Current. 3 red, deals 3 damage to each creature, so kind of like Withering Suns. and you choose an instant or sorcery in your hand, and it perpetually gains. If this will deal non-combat damage to a player, deals 2 more. So I would play this card in a deck without cheap creatures, but 3 per red decks usually play cheap creatures, so I think this is also not cutting it. I'm really sad to just not be excited about these cards, but I am somewhat a quote unquote competitive player, so I don't really see like, I don't know. Turn on creatures and planeswalker, your opponent control prevent again if there's. Okay, this as an ability. This as a good ability. And it is creatures and planeswalker your opponent controls perpetually gain. If this permanent would die, exile it instead. So this is good against like Cat Oven and stuff like that. It's a very just strange way to hate somewhat a rest in peace for creature, but only on the opponent. Alright. Blue cards now. Alright, so far the best card has been Electrostatic Blast. This is the only card that I can see being played. You can play it in the Izzet control deck. So they remember the Izzet control deck got its Aron's Epiphany nerfed. Not an enchantment. Oh, is it only the creatures in play? Or is it all the creatures forever? Oh, it's only on the battlefield. Okay, yeah. Probably better regardless. Never mind. I thought it was like creatures, in general. But no, it's only on the battlefield? Alright, then. Let's continue. Unexpected conversion. Okay, it's a divination. It's a divination and do what? You can discard. No, exile. Instant sorcery from your hand. If you do, search your hand library for any number. Kind of a confusing one, this unexpected conversion. It lets you basically do divination, and then you can kind of like exchange. Like, let's say, I don't understand the second part. Like, let's do an example. I play this divination, draw 2 cards. Then I have in hand like, I don't know, Wrath of God, and I'm playing against a blue-red deck, and I can pitch them all to exchange it with Counterspell. But you choose. So, you play a divination that lets you choose which card you have in hand. Is Seek random? Seek is random, or is it a tutor? I think it's... So Seek is random. Okay, alright. I think I understood this card now. This card is, again, obviously for best of 1. It's obviously for best of 1, because you play it in a control deck, where you're playing against a control deck, and you have Wrath of God, and, I don't know, removal spell in hand, and you exile them all, and you replace them with random cards from your deck. That's the goal. Okay. Cool card. A lie, I believe your cat walked on the keyboard. Alright. Cool card. Except it's a freaking rare, but I mean that's kind of a trend for 2 mana 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put one of them into your graveyard. Whenever a creature card is put into your graveyard, pressure gains when this card leaves your graveyard. Create a 2/2 black. Alright. Not bad. Definitely build around, but I could see this card being strong. Blue. Conjure a duplicate of each up to 2 target non-token creatures you control into your hand. Oh wow. So you have 2 creatures in play, and you make 2 copies and put them in your hand. Alright, not bad. Tireless Angler. 3 mana. When an instant enters the island, sorry, when an island enters the battlefield under your control, draft a card from the spell. Get a spell book. This card, the spellbook cards are all pretty medium, I think. Obsessive Collector. The 4/3 flyer War 2. When deals damage to a player, you seek a card to convert the mana cost. Alright. Obviously, it comes with a problem that it doesn't have haste or to be affected. And that's the battlefield. You shot to change control. Check a spell. 5 mana, 4/5 flying. When it enters the battlefield, put a random instant from your library into your graveyard. Then, put a random sorcery. Okay. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard, copy that spell. Great. Discover the formula. 6 mana, 6/3 non-land card. Okay. 2 mana, 1/2. When it's about to choose a duplicate, any other blue card. Absorb energy. It's a cancel that says under target spell, cards in your hand that share card type. Actually gain the spell 1 cost less. Okay. Ace Channeler. 1/3. When it's about to choose an instant sorcery in your hand, the value 3 or greater. It costs. Alright, I don't think these cards are great. Let's continue. By the way, reading this spoiler, if you're afraid that they would have like power creeped Alchemy with these new cards, I don't think it's that. These cards don't seem remotely playable to me in best of 3 Alchemy. They like, if Alchemy becomes like the new official formats of Arena with like MCQ and like ladder and such. So far, let's continue reading. I'm on a 2/4 flyer. When his spell becomes day, you can become night. When a spell with mana, your opponent can't cast spell mana about the number of turns they've begun. Oh wow. Cool card. 4 mana 3/3 Vigilance. When it comes into play, if there are 20 or more creature cards with mana value 3 or less. Okay. Among cards in your graveyard and library, seek 2 creatures, 3 or less, and put 1 of them into the battle. Alright, so this is a 4 mana 3/3 Vigilance, and you get like another card. Not great. I guess in human, it's a human, so maybe you played in company, or company, and 2 of this. You cast this, and you get like a 3-drop on average. Like you get a 3-drop on average. Maybe it's not the worst, because they're gonna give you a random two cards are random, and you choose 1 of them. You can't fizzle. Maybe it's not bad. No, you get 2, no, but you choose 1. You get 2 at random, and then you choose 1. Put 1 of them into the battlefield. Shuffle the other into your library. So that's not bad. The fact that they seek you for 2 means that you're gonna have less chances of like getting a 1-drop. So hopefully you get a 1 or a 3. Get another 3-drop in play. That's not a bad card. If this card was, let's say, 4 mana 3/3 Vigilance, tutor, like look at your deck and put a 3-drop in play, that would have been excellent. So this card isn't quite that, but it's similar. It's similar. Like you can get obviously unlucky and seek two 1-drops, so you put a 1-drop into play. But Ranger Captain of Eos costs 3 and does that. It does have another ability too. Actually, I'm coming around this card. This card might see play in humans. Yeah, but the Green-White Company humans is playing a lot of 3-drops because you have a company deck. So that's the goal, I think. Like you have a higher now, especially with the Hamlet Vanguard. 3/3 lifelink. When it is battlefield or attack, choose a card in your hand. The version is like 4 mana conjure card named Suntail Hawk. Ooh, Suntail Hawk. As a child, I remember Suntail Hawk. My deck had 4 Suntail Hawk as a child. I still remember. This ninth edition. This was a card. I also had this 1/1 flying for one, and I also had I remember my deck was 8 of that. Where is it? This one, Lantern Kami. I had 4 Suntail Hawk, 4 Lantern Kami, 1 mana, 1/1. Alright, let's continue. You can't hit that one of company cost 4 mana. You have fewer than 7 cards here, repeat this for. Alright, so I guess 4 mana and fills your hand. 2/3/1 comes into play. You conjure a card named Sea Garden of Angel, which is the same name, into your hand. Discard a card at the beginning of the end. Huh. This is a reasonable card. This is a good card, isn't it? You pay 2 mana for a 3/1. No, I guess it's fine for flooding, which Green-White Company always does. If you blink it, you can restart the Swarm. I'm thinking about Green-White Company again in Historic. I guess it's also good in, like, the Garden of Angel doesn't seem bad. Slayer's Bounty. When it enters the battlefield, look at the creature cards in target opponent hand. And 1 mana card, I'm never good, sorry. 3 mana 2/2. When it or another human enters the battlefield in your control, you conjure a card named Utility Knife onto the battlefield. Utility Knife, if I don't mistake, is a 1 mana artifact that attached to a creature. This isn't bad. Chat, this isn't bad. This is a 3/3. Oh, Expedition Supplier. I think we found the actually first good card. It's a 3 mana 3/3 basically, because you got an Utility Knife and immediately put it on this. Then turn after you play another human, you get another Utility Knife. I'm pretty hyped about this. Alright. I think we found the official. Not sure if Inquisitor Captain might be better in Historic. Yeah. Good card, Expedition Supplier. Divine Purge. Exile artifacts and creature with mana value 3 or less. They're partially gain. Creature cost. Oh. Not great. I mean, like fine, but it's like out of time in Modern Horizons 2. I don't think it's particularly good. Angel Unity. 1 mana 1/1/3 flying lifelink. When Angel Unity enters the battlefield, you cast a parties. Okay. Choose a party creature in your hand. Alright, Bunt Party was a deck. I've played against it a couple of times on the ladder. I think it was good. Captain Eberhart. No, not in Standard. All in Alchemy, Historic, and Brawl. 1 and white 1/1 double strike. Spells cast from among cards that you drew this turn. I think we already drew all of this. Begin New is weird because green white doesn't want to destroy creature, wants to play. This is cool also. 3 mana 3/3, which is the Reckless Storm Seeker, and it conjures 4 lightning bolt into your deck. I don't know how good is it, but can't be that bad. The floor is there. 3 mana 3/3 haste, Bugger Ram Gang. The gang. Patient 0, 1 black 2/2 lifelink. Damage isn't removed from creatures your opponent control. I don't. Forsaken Crossroads. Well, yeah, if you're on the draw, this card is reasonable. You scry 1. And you add yeah, it's not good. Fine, it's fine. But yeah, I believe overall the card I'm mostly hype about is our Expedition Supplier, Inquisitor Captain. I'm not sure about this Garden of Angel. It looks solid. It looks solid because you can tap a permanent you don't control. Card doesn't seem bad. You can tap a land too. If the company does into play. I definitely have to replace the Luminarch Aspirant in Historic. Maybe this Garden of Angel might be good. Maybe Inquisitor Captain also good. The blue, I don't think blue added anything. Yeah, blue, maybe old lore, but that's like a build around. Red definitely had Electrostatic Blast, which is great. And also black didn't, I didn't find it. That's my final take on this Alchemy card. So don't be too like, oh, I can't afford Alchemy, I don't have wild card. It's gonna be very similar to standard, except like, you know, the decks are gonna be weakened by the nerf. So your black-white snow deck can be good. Or whatnot. Probably still won't be because it's still excellent, and they also got a new card and this Electrostatic Blast. Which Alchemy card I was most excited about so far. I mean, Electrostatic Blast looks great for sure, so maybe it's this one. This one is like a bolt, a shock, and like a ponder some sort. No, sorry, a shock and anticipate of some sort. You know, all in the same card. This reminds me of like Expressive Iteration, since for 2 mana it does 2 things. For 2 mana it's card advantage. It's not as immediate as Expressive Iteration. The Equipment Conjurer Approximate Luminarch Aspirant. Yeah, exactly, right? Because you can play Expedition Supplier in Historic. You put it on the Esper Sentinel. And Utility Knife isn't a... Utility Knife is like, comes to play with a +1/+1 counter, basically. If you conjure many Utility Knife turn after turn, for burn doesn't exist. Not a deck. The dragon seems good. I don't. There's already so many good options. But yeah, that's actually a good read. Always fun to read new cards, especially when they are, you know, so weird. Like Sante Squadron, you pay 4 mana and you fill your hand with Sante Lock. Isn't it like crazy? Some equipment synergy in the future. Yeah, I'm sure there's some equipment synergy. I remember in Innistrad Crimson Vow, there was an uncommon that was, what was it? Like the Boros uncommon worked with equipment. Maybe it was it the D&D set. When he dies, draft a card from the spell. %. Let's check also there's the Discord Spellbook. Like giving your opponent a card in your hand is not good. I mean, if you're like in top deck mode and you draw this Sante Squadron, you win. You fill your hand with 7 Squadron Knock. You know? I mean, imagine you're just playing this like aggro deck, right? Top of the curve, you have like Legion Angel, maybe. And you also have like one of this. So like in the late game, you just, you know, you draw this and just draw 7 cards. I know they're like all medium. Sante Lock, for those of you who don't know, is not good, but you know. Alright, that does it for me. Deck Squadron Alkalot. Yeah, that's a cool card. Again, I don't know how good is it, but I'm sure there have been for people will enjoy them. Okay, I'll do it. That'll do it for me.